After having the GT-M8 version 2.0 for a couple of weeks, I started to record some videos of me riding the board in order to do a full review of it. However, being unreliable, it basically broke down after not more than a week and a couple days. The board was basically fried, so I had to get a replacement board from the manufacturer, which took a couple more weeks to get to me. Once installed, this new board actually works, and sadly it also broke down after about a week and a couple of days of use. Both breakdowns occurred after I was completely draining the battery when doing a range test, so I'm guessing there's probably something wrong with the way the board manages power when the power goes down to a very low voltage. This was not confirmed by the manufacturer, so anyways, here are still my impressions of this board. You can consider this a full review, as I am not riding the board anymore and I don't have any replacement parts for it. The manufacturer promises 25 to 28 kilometers per hour of top speed. I was able to reach 25.6 kilometers per hour. So in terms of speed, the promise was actually delivered. The acceleration is not very great. Basically, with a heavy guy like me, it's very hard to get to the full speed. You need quite a long distance, and the speed increase is very slow. Winboard promises 12 to 18 kilometers of range. While riding the board during the fall season in Montreal, I was able to reach 8.4 kilometers. I was able to ride it at the end of the fall season with temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, so below the freezing point. When I started my ride in the morning, the board was stored in my garage, so it's heated and it's at a 20-something degrees, so it's ready to go. But once I get to my workplace, I don't have much battery left, so that's about 4 kilometers later. As opposed to the acceleration capability of this board, braking is very hard. Mind you, I'm a heavy guy, so with the momentum that I have when running full speed, when I hit the brakes to slow down to a full stop, the board usually has problems. As you can see in this video, the braking distance was quite large. One of the problems that I also often encountered is when there's an emergency and you need to brake fast, something weird happens once in a while when braking in emergency conditions. The board brakes as usual, but sometimes while braking, the board stops braking and still goes and then brakes again. So this can throw you off of your board quite easily, as you can see. You need to be wary and you need to be ready for anything when riding an electric skateboard, and the Winboard GT-M8 version 2 really had me on my toes the whole time. When the weather started to be cold in Montreal, I was going full speed at 25 kilometers per hour, and basically my hands were getting very cold. So one of the things I tried to do is put my hands in my coat. Well, the remote doesn't like that at all. Basically, I was getting disconnections. So what this means is you're going full speed, and when you put your hands in your coat, basically the power to the remote, the signal cuts, and the board just starts to slow down quite rapidly. And then if you move your hands just slightly, it picks up right where it left. So that jerkiness can really throw you out of your board quite easily. Another problem I had with the board is while riding in Montreal, we have those nice cracks in the street. The only problem is that the power button on the board is a push button, meaning that you press it down to click it and you press it down again to unclick it, which turns off the board. Well, this crack basically turned the power off on the board by itself. So I had to brake with my foot, just power on the board again to go and resume my ride. So this is something you have to be wary about, is that road conditions can actually turn off the board. I also did a few hill tests. As you can see in the video, this hill is 18.8 degrees. The inclination is not extreme. That's one of the kind of hills that you might encounter in your commute. If I'm going full speed, or maybe 15 to 20 kilometers per hour at least, I could probably get over that little hill. If I start from the ground at the base of the hill and try to go my way up, this will never work. In terms of riding comfort, this is one of the hardest boards I've ever ridden, and one of the worst one in terms of comfort for riding. The deck is a thick piece of wood, so there's no flex, and it transfers all of the road vibrations to your feet, so this is very uncomfortable. They included 2 shock pads on the board, but that was not enough. The good thing is that their board is short, therefore you can easily carve your way around. You can even turn quite aggressively if you have to do a 90 degrees turn, so that's great. The actual riding experience could be fun, could be performant, but in this case, it's underpowered. The range is not sufficient. and the riding comfort is not there. So I wish they were actually using a real skateboard with some flex, which would have alleviate the problems of the road bumps. Also, if the board would not crash and stop working for me after a week or two of riding, that would also be better. So in terms of reliability, this board is very low in my opinion. I do not recommend this model. From what I've read on Reddit, there's a user there who basically has the longboard version and he experienced the exact same problems as I did. So in conclusion, the GT-M8 version 2 from Winboard is not a board I recommend. The reliability issues, the comfort not being there, makes this board not a great one, especially for the price. You can get much better boards. You should look into other competitive board like the Meepo board or the Juice board, which are two alternatives that are much better for a similar or cheaper price. That's it for this review. Let me know if you have any questions. Thumbs up if you liked it, sub if you loved it. So have a nice day.